You're an inventor. You're a founder. You're passionate about your project. You should be passionate. We should get to this level. It should be here where we have our discussion. That's okay. As long as we both know that we are acting in the best interest of our customer, our businesses, and moving the product forward.
So T, DMs, my favorite thing, because that means that somebody's listening and giving us positive or negative feedback. Mm-hmm. I'll start with the negative.
Sure.
I forgot it was a different list. Hold on.
How do you read your handwriting? I'm looking at your handwriting.
It's a skill. So somebody wrote informative with a question mark. I love that one. Okay. But the most important one that I thought, which talks about how you work with us in the incubator, how we work together as a cohesive unit for First Strike Incubator and No Follows podcast, and how we all came together.
Sure.
Is somebody asked us, how did we build the relationship where you and T can constantly disagree, but seem to really care and smile all the time?
Well, I'd love to take that question, Bob. Thank you so much for asking.
Okay, thanks for your answer.
The key is I'm great. I'm very patient. I'm kind, and I'm willing to accept Bob for all of his flaws. And I think patience is really, I have so much patience. I'd say
Are you on something right now?
If I had to list my top 3 qualities, they would be...
Patience?
No, patience wouldn't be one. It would be, number 1, I'm very talented. Number 2, I'm quite handsome. Number 3, I'm quite modest.
You have quite the face for radio. That was another DM. Shouldn't you just keep this a podcast?
No, I mean, in all seriousness, organizational behavior 101, right?
Oh, God.
What do they always say? Conflict is good, right? Good,
but
healthy.
Is this really conflict?
Disagreement, I think, can be viewed as conflict. I think sometimes people shy away from conflict because they're worried about the uncomfortableness of it. But you have to, in my opinion, you have to learn to dwell in the uncomfortableness. Like you just have to go, that's where progress is going to be made.
I'm going to disagree there because I don't think it's conflict. I think, as the Constitution says, respectful disagreeance is the cornerstone of democracy.
You're just throwing another name on conflict.
No, it's not conflict.
I'm about to conflict with you right now.
I'm conflicting with you with your stupid answer. The reason we have a relationship is because we based it on honesty and direct talk. That wasn't always comfortable. But I never feel like I'm in conflict with you because we know we're aligned, and everybody behind the camera, we're aligned to do one thing: do the best we can do together, try to create something great, and be there for our clients' results. But we're aligned mission-wise. So the difference is us seeing it from a different point of view, which makes us stronger, not weaker. And I trust you enough to know that you're not just BSing me most of the time, except with that opening.
That's a mistake. You know, I'm
8
the
years
master,
of mistakes.
I'm the master BSer. This is what they call the long. This is what they call the long con. I think that, I mean, I hear what you're saying. Okay.
You don't agree with it though. That's good.
I think it's a little bit of semantics. Because,
no, it's not semantics.
Because you're saying like, that's not conflict.
It's not conflict.
Conflict is disagreement.
Hostility.
No. So, okay. All right. Now we're getting down on it. But see how even now we're able to dial down on the actual premise of what we're each trying to say through conflict. So like I always say,
but conflict puts it too negative for people. People don't know how to build teams. They don't know how to build culture.
These are sensitive Sallies. Too negative for this. It's not negative.
But you have to make them comfortable. Listen, we have a new crop of incubator members coming in that have no idea how to deal with us.
Right, but that's...
Okay, but
Bob,
hold on.
can I just be honest?
But hold on.
May I?
Well, give me 1 second to get one point out. You took the last episode. I think you talked for 44 minutes. I think I got 13 seconds of talking.
Well, then let me begin by saying you're welcome for 44 minutes.
I needed to protect my voice for the opera. If you couch everything like it's a conflict, and I used to do this. I was like, I'm Italian. I love arguing. And people are like, do we have to argue all the time? I wasn't arguing though. I was just like, I'm trying to prove a point. I want you to push back on me to make my point better or destroy it. So if we use conflict, it's going to scare good people away potentially. And what you're saying is throw the crap at them. And if they last, then they're part of our team.
I mean, honestly, kind of. It's not throw the crap at them. It's a couple things. I think I just want to differentiate between two things here. Unhealthy and healthy conflict.
Ooh, this is important.
Yeah.
I'm writing this down.
Thank you. There is a difference. Because,
can you read what I wrote?
No. What I'm talking about is healthy conflict, because in that space where healthy conflict exists is where you find growth. And I'm not trying to be hippy dippy, but that is my...
Is that a word?
Yeah, hippy dippy. It's a hyphenated situation.
Is it in the dictionary?
Yeah. I'm not saying throw things at people for the sake of throwing it at them. What I'm saying is...
You're saying be authentic, relevant?
Yes. One of the biggest compliments anyone ever gave me in my life was...
one.
Yeah.
The one compliment.
Last time
Did I give it to you?
No.
Oh.
It's the last time someone gave me a compliment was when I was at college, a great college, a college that's ranked number 2 in the United States in all colleges in the U.S., according to the Wall Street Journal, Babson College.
Did you finish that college?
Yeah, 100%. I finished early, 3.5 years, I might add.
Did you get a real diploma?
Yeah, paper and everything. One of the best compliments someone gave me was you had to do this thing where you picked one word to describe someone, and someone said genuine to me. And that is probably the best or one of the best compliments I could receive, because it is what it is. But the reason I bring that up is to say, like, I'm not causing conflict for the sake of conflict. I'm not throwing things at people for the sake of making them feel badly or to make myself feel better. It's not conflict for conflict's sake. It's disagreement for the sake of growth. And that needs to come from a genuine place. And it comes from me saying, I think that we can find a better solution for you through this conflict, through this disagreement, in a healthy way.
You have to back up, because we deal with a lot of first-time inventors, builders, entrepreneurs, right? Genuine means I'm willing to take a stand based on life experience, my research, right? Based on who I am. And I'm going to take a stand regardless if you're for or against me. Genuine is not something people naturally go to. So I am, right? And you know this, I talk about it. I am brutally blunt all the time because I can't figure out when I make something up what I said. So I'm genuine because I want to be, but also I just think it's the highest form of respect to somebody.
Well,
I am who I am, right?
It has to come from a place of respect.
But we're talking about genuine to people that are told all the nonsense that we've talked about before on this podcast, right?
That's
be
the thing.
something you're not.
So that's where I draw the line of then I'm not interested. And it's not that, oh, if you can't come here and disagree about, that's not it. I will treat everyone with the utmost respect.
Except me.
Except you, because you don't deserve it. But other than you.
Fair.
Fair. But, everyone, gets the same respect. But the thing is, if I say to you.
Right. Not everyone.
If I say, okay, you made this statement, prove it. And they say, well, I don't need to prove it. Okay, well, then you got nothing for me. I'm not going to waste any time with you. And it's not, oh, my time's so valuable and yours isn't. No, it's that all of our time is valuable. And if you're not interested in finding truth and finding data and making informed decisions based on data, that's not how I operate. And so that's where unhealthy conflict can come into play. And that's when I just extricate myself from the situation.
But I think you're missing.
And say, we're not a good fit.
But I think you're missing the thing that people aren't going to read into it is we've taken the time to build real relationships and a real culture. It doesn't stop the moment we stop this or stop working with our clients, right? I know what donuts you like. Okay.
Love donuts.
Right. But it's that holistic view of people. Like, we're not here just to do this. We're here to support each other and support the crew. The crew supports us and vice versa in whatever they're doing. Right. We applaud, we help when it's crappy out. So, but building that culture takes a lot of time, and we had years to develop it.
Yeah. But
what people see, and that was the DM, right? Like, how did you get to this point? Because they're like, we don't see that in our own shop, or we don't see that in our own company. And it was two different ones that were very similar vein. Is like, how do you build that in to your team or your company? And my answer is you're not going to build it overnight. It takes forever and it's
100%.
painful and it's a lot of work.
Well, I mean, and that is a culture question, but I think a large part of it is going back to organizational behavior 101, which is conflict is good. So having processes in place to manage and not shy away from healthy conflict. And, a lot of people
Do you mean respectful disagreements?
No, I mean healthy conflict. I mean, people going, yeah, we can get, it's okay. And all of the HR professionals in the world can DM Bob about how I'm wrong about this. But in my life, so let me paint two pictures. I've walked in two worlds, right? I've worked in white collar, I've worked in blue collar. Both have pros and cons. One major difference, and this is just from my experience, you can disagree with me, is that one of the things I like more about the blue collar world is that you will be held accountable for your words and actions immediately, for better or worse. And it's not always a reasonable, healthy conflict. But versus in the white collar world, it's passive aggressiveness. In a blue collar world, it's aggressiveness. And there's a happy medium between the two of it's unhealthy for people to, and I'm not a mental health professional, so I'm just speaking from experience and not from a place of expertise. But as a business owner and as someone who tries to build culture here, it's unhealthy for people to have passive aggressive feelings about a situation. You need a healthy outlet for that. You need a system and a process to be able to bring that to the forefront where you can grow on that and build it that is not accusatory, right?
Or punitive.
Or punitive. So the question is, how do you build that? And that is up to you and the culture you build. For us and the people we work with here, how this often rears its head is I came in to tell you about my product and you asked me questions that were mean. Well, mean is a subjective term. That's not an objective term. What you viewed as mean is me trying to get to the truth because I think you're spewing a bunch of bullshit at me. And so I'm trying to cut through the bullshit. And so the best way to avoid that is don't throw bullshit out. Just come in and say, and so if I say to you, how would you describe your UVP, your unique value proposition, and you can't, then go, I'm not sure. We can do more with I'm not sure than we can with goobly gook coming out of your mouth.
But we're a solo voice in a world of nonsense that is written or spewed by people that never walked the walk and ever had to take the lumps with the successes. So listen, I'm the first one to get to a point, right? You just talked for 20 minutes. I don't even know what you're doing for a business, right? Just get to a point. Tell me what you got, what you don't have. We both live on that plane. But these people are coming in, reading books, listening to podcasts, other podcasts, watching experts on their webinars talk about the nonsense that doesn't make for great business because they're told all the same things. They're told to fake it. They're told to literally talk and go raise money before you even know what the product does. And you can't even tell me one person that would buy it. Yeah. Right?
You don't know who would buy it. You don't know what their customer profile would be.
Right.
You don't know where they buy. Listen, you don't know how they buy.
Those are all the things we do with people. And that's our first step all the time is like, we're going to disprove who you think you're going to buy. And the reason is because you can't put a priority. People came in today and like, here's our value. We're cheaper. We're better.
We could be more expensive.
Or we could be cheaper and you could have anything you want. Okay. Right. That's not a startup. That's not a new invention.
Yeah.
That doesn't exist.
And if that person goes, well, the fact that you said that was mean and you were mean to me, that is where I say, and this is where my sister will frequently tell me I'm being aggressive, but it's not it may be an aggressive statement, but it doesn't come from an aggressive place, which is you've got nothing for me. And what I mean is it's not, oh, I can't make money off of you, because honestly, those people are probably the people that will be preyed upon the most to have people make money off of them because they'll say, we can do everything for you. We can change the world. Oh my God.
And they don't ask any questions.
Everything's so great. We have no questions, no follow-up. Come on in.
Great.
Checks to the right and we're good to go. And what I say is, I've got nothing for you. You've got nothing for me. We are not the same type of person. I don't think you're genuine and I don't want to deal with disingenuous people. That's where this comes from. And that's why you can call people to task. I do it in my personal relationships. I do it in my business relationships. It is not for everyone. I have seen a customer said to me once, he was saying something to me, and I didn't say anything. I was just listening. And he goes, "Your face." And I said, "What?" And he goes,
Sorry.
"Your face." And I was like, "I'm sorry." I said, I can't control sometimes. And it's not a disrespectful thing. It's that sometimes I am genuine. I put all of myself into my customers'
I think the
projects.
other
And so
part of
sometimes I
that-
just react.
I think the other part of that, though, is understanding that you have to be accountable,
Yeah.
right? You have to take accountability for the good and the bad that you do.
I-
And if you do it for yourself, it's reflected in all the other team members saying, okay, it's all right to make mistakes.
Yeah.
Right. But that takes time. Like people want us to come up with a phrase and say, do this, like pithy motivational stuff on a wall. Yeah. Here's how to build a relationship where you can disagree and still be friends and still be really productive and have no hard feelings.
Yeah.
I don't think we've ever had hard. We fight a lot.
Yeah.
I don't think we've ever had a hard feeling.
No. It comes from a place of working towards growth. Right.
Relationship growth.
Right. So when you say to me, T, I think you're missing here. I think that this isn't.
I think you tell me to go kick rocks.
I'll tell you, go kick rocks right now. I know you're not going, Bob's saying that to put me down and raise himself up.
You gave me the lower stool.
You are saying it for that reason.
No, I would never say it.
I know that you're saying it because you're going, I'm giving you an outside perspective of how I think this can be better. I have no shortage of people who on what I do.
That's horrible.
Okay, you can fix that in post.
He's like, no, I'm not.
Bleep that out.
Can you bleep out the other 10 minutes?
It doesn't change my day. I mean, there are certain times that it does.
But that's not true. That's not true.
No, I'm saying there are certain times that it does.
No.
It weighs on me.
Well, I wasn't trying to weigh on you, but you actually, because it's coming from a place where you already have tested relationships.
Yeah.
And we have a culture that says we expect all of us to mess up.
Yeah.
And we're all going to fix it together. Because of that, it's not weighing on you because you're like, oh my God, I'm not good enough. You're just like, okay, I didn't see that. Let's move on. Right. Or where do we take it?
And sometimes you got to lick your wounds for a day. But I think that no matter what, whether you're a startup, you're a single person, you're whatever it is.
But you're never a single person.
Well, I mean, that is true.
You're like never a single person in this endeavor, ever. And if you think you are, you're not going to get anywhere.
Yeah.
It's always the team. And listen, we have these relationships with our clients, with our suppliers, with our vendors.
How many times this past year with one particular customer did I have to eat a lot of costs to get the job done right? If you hold yourself to the highest standard, I rejected parts before they could even see them. Finished parts, tens of thousands of dollars worth of stuff, because I said it doesn't meet my standard. And what that did to them was we all said, this is an inconvenience, but I will stand behind my work and we will make it right. And we will be partners in this. And because of that, more work follows. That is building relationships. And it's not building relationships for the sake of saying it. It's going, this is how you have a true partner, 100%.
And that's where,
and then if they don't come back, right.
But
but even with that, and I have had situations like that, as I'm sure you have too. I can always hold my head up at the end of the day and go, I acted, and my wife and I talk about this all the time since we just had our first kid, and you have these discussions. The thing about having a moral compass is that you have your true north. And my moral compass is mutually exclusive to anyone else's behavior, right? So what is right to me and to my family and to the way we live is not dependent on what you do. And what I mean by that is, if I say it's wrong to hit someone and you hit me, and I go, well, he hit me first. Well, if your moral compass is it's wrong to hit someone, it doesn't matter that you hit me first. Well, that's not how I feel.
Yeah, I was going to say that is a really bad example.
But that's an example, right? It's wrong except for this one time because this thing happened. Yeah. Well, my moral compass is mutually exclusive of other people's behavior for my right? Yeah, and the only reason I say that, sorry, not to cut you off, but the only reason I say that is that comes into play with conflict. Because at the end of the day, if we are meeting with a customer and I push back on them on every point they bring up, it is not uncommon for things to get elevated, right? We're both Italian. We're passionate. You're an inventor. You're a founder. You're passionate about your project. You should be passionate. We should get to this level. It should be here where we have our discussion. That's okay. As long as we both know that we are acting in the best interest of our customer, our businesses, and moving the product forward. And it is not to go, I'm going to put you down to bring myself up. It's going, I'm going to poke respectfully, but passionately to bring the whole thing up. And that's where I'm at.
That's a learned behavior. People have to, that has to be modeled for people. And that's why we have phases.
And you have to be okay with it. And you have to be comfortable with that.
But it also takes time to get to that point.
A lot of people are just uncomfortable with conflict.
Well, but then they're passive aggressive and they show it in other ways.
But,
so that's all.
But that's what I'm saying is that is
stuff.
when it goes to the point where I go, you got nothing for me.
Right. But to get to this stage, to answer the DM, it takes time, and it takes time to build trust.
Yeah.
Like, we didn't trust each other right away. I think you doubted most of the things I said to you.
I still doubt most of the things you say.
And I still didn't believe you knew what the hell you were building. So that's good. But I mean, it takes trust to build. And this is what you should be looking at when you're trying to decide on partners and advisors and investors. I don't have to, we have to build a chain so you understand each other. You don't have to agree. Yeah. You just have to understand each other. And I think at the end of the day, we fight about this production with the crew, with marketing, with ourselves.
You have to know how to disagree in a healthy way.
And prove it. Prove what you're saying.
And even in your personal life, you have to know how to have healthy, it all stems from the same place. It's all about knowing how to have healthy conflict for the sake of growth.
So keep those DMs coming in, because then we'll have T ranting for a little while. But
I don't think I ranted.
Okay. Support our sponsors. If you DM me, just follow us. Bob T. Till next week.